All right, y'all. Welcome back to JayFabe Wrestling, and yeah, we are in Survivor Series season, and a lot of you requested to book some of the older Survivor Series. So yeah, I'm gonna actually book Survivor Series 1992, some of the previous Survivor Series like 1987, 1988, 1989, even 1990. I felt like they were still true to their Survivor Series form. And around this time, 1992, 1993, I felt like Survivor Series kind of lost its luster. We were kind of getting away from the classic Survivor Series matches. Specifically on this card, we only had the tag team match as like the big attraction. They had a few Survivor Series matches, but not enough. And I'm going to keep the tradition alive. So yeah, let's get into it. Survivor Series 1992. So the first match, I have Captain Bob Backlund, the Bushwhackers, and El Matador, aka Tito Santana, versus Captain Yokozuna, the Headshrinkers, and Kamala. So yeah, I think this would be a great match. Of course, Yokozuna will be the sole survivor here. He could have last eliminate Bob Backlund. And yeah, if you kind of look at the teams here, you kind of have like the fun baby faces, kind of goofy, the Bushwhackers, El Matador, and Bob Backlund. And then here we kind of have like the Savage team. Obviously Yokozuna, he was more of a sumo wrestler, but he still has ties to the Head Shrinkers, and then Kamala. So yeah, basic build here. We can have Bob Backlund make a challenge. He says he wants to be at Survivor Series, and you could have Yokozuna come out and beat them up on main event or something like that. And then yeah, so they kind of start forming teams. Bob Backlund can try to recruit the Bushwhackers and El Matador, and Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji, they get Kamala and the Head Shrinkers. So yeah, simple build here, and I think it's a great way to put Yokozuna on the map rather than him squashing Virgil, him being a sole survivor, and pinning a legend like Bob Backlund would be great. And then this will also tie into the 1993 Royal Rumble, where Bob Backlund was kind of the underdog and Yokozuna eventually won that Royal Rumble. So you can definitely tie back into that feud at the Rumble. All right, second match, we got Tatanka, Crush, and High Energy versus the Berserker, Skinner, and the Beverly Brothers. So yeah, I think again with these Survivor Series matches, you don't have to go too crazy with the build here. I would actually have Tatanka start feuding with the Berserker because the Berserker is obsessed with defeating Tatanka, and Skinner as well. Skinner kind of helps attack Tatanka because Skinner, he's a hunter and he wants to hunt, you know, the strongest, and that's Tatanka. And Tatanka could look for some help, and yeah, Crush and High Energy can um, go and help him, and then you can have the Beverly Brothers also join the heel team here. So yeah, just a classic mid card match here. And again, to keep Tatanka strong, I would actually have Tatanka be the sole survivor. He can last eliminate the Berserker and Skinner, so he'll be down 2-on-1 and he'll make the comeback. So yeah, I think it's a nice little showcase for Tatanka and his undefeated streak. All right, the third match we have the Big Boss Man, Virgil, and the Nasty Boys versus Nailz, Repo Man, the Brooklyn Brawler, and the Genius. So yeah, another fun match here. Obviously, the main feud was Big Boss Man and Nailz. Nailz was a former prison guard, and yeah, Repo Man can say, you know what, Nailz. He can kind of relate to him because he's also, done some crime, stealing and doing some repo activities. So they kind of form an alliance there and beat up on Big Boss Man. And Virgil can come out and say, he represents, the hardworking man, and and he will have his back. And then you could have the Brooklyn Brawler and the Genius talk to Nails and say, you know what, you need someone from the streets of Brooklyn to help you out, and we also have someone. You can be street smart, but you also need to be book smart. And then the Genius will join, and Virgil kind of realizes they need help, and he tells Big Boss Man he has a team that can help them get more nasty to defeat the other team, and it'll be the Nasty Boys. So yeah, they can help, and I'll have a couple brawls here and there. And yeah, I would actually have Big Boss Man be the sole survivor here. He can get his revenge on Nailz, finally end that feud. Obviously, Big Boss Man was leaving at the time, but I think just to end the feud here, and there's no one to really push on the heel side, so I think Big Boss Man should get the win. Right, the fourth match, we have the semi main event The Undertaker, The Natural, Disasters, and Max Moon versus Bam Bam Bigelow, Money Inc., and Papa Shango. So yeah, I kind of scrapped the Undertaker Kamala feud. I wasn't really a fan of that, and I would actually have Bam Bam Bigelow. I believe he returned around this time. Have him attack the Undertaker with Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase wants his revenge because he brought the Undertaker into wrestling, and he wanted him to join the $1 Million Corporation. Undertaker and Paul Bearer said no. So yeah, there's that, and then Papa Shango can also attack the Undertaker because he wants to show that he's more darker than the Undertaker. So yeah, Undertaker can look for some help here, and then the natural disasters can come and say, we've been screwed by Ted DiBiase, and they want to help the Undertaker. And then Max Moon can also join and say, he's here to fight with the Undertaker as well to combat Papa Shango. So yeah, I think this would be a better match than Undertaker Kamala, and of course we're keeping the Survivor Series tradition here. And actually, I would actually have Bam Bam Bigelow get the surprise heel win here. I think he could build a feud for Taker and Bam Bam around WrestleMania 9. Hopefully, they'll be way better than the Undertaker Giant Gonzalez feud. So yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow could get the win. He could get some help from Papa Shango, maybe could come back and try to, run interference, and Bam Bam can kind of use the urn, hit the Undertaker, get the win, start their feud. And yeah, I think it's a great way for Bam Bam Bigelow to return as well. Make him feel like a big deal. I feel like they really dropped the ball on Bam Bam Bigelow. He could have been definitely a bigger player in 1992, 1993. So yeah, I think this would be a more ideal way. Keep the feud going, puts Undertaker in a better match, better program than fighting Kamala. And yeah, again, sets up WrestleMania 9. All right, the final match, the main event. We got Captain Bret the Hitman Hart, the Macho Man Randy Savage, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and Marty Jannety, yes, versus the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, the bad guy Razor Ramon, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and the model Rick Martell. So yeah, a lot of great work rate in this match here. Obviously, some things to note: Ultimate Warrior, he was replaced by Mr. Perfect, and also British Bulldog. He was feuding with Shawn Michaels at the time. He left the company, so I replaced him with Marty Jannety here. So yeah, obviously the feud is Bret Hart defeated Ric Flair, so Ric Flair, he wants to get his win back. He's him and Mr. Perfect are attacking, and it's set up as Mr. Perfect is on Ric Flair's team, but then we get that whole segment where Macho Man says he's challenging Mr. Perfect to be a man and stand up for himself. So yeah, Mr. Perfect eventually turns to the face side. And then, of course, we still have Razor Ramon and Macho Man going at it. Yeah, obviously, they have the feud about who's more macho, the Macho Man versus Razor Ramon, the guy with machismo. And yeah, Rick Martell, he wants to join these guys as well. Him and Shawn Michaels, obviously, they had a match at SummerSlam, so they can kind of, embrace and say that what, there's room for both of us here on this team. And yeah, they're looking for a fourth man here, and Marty Jannetty can join them. Obviously he has history with Shawn Michaels, so he kind of fits perfectly into this match here. So yeah, I think that this would be a great match, giving them around 20-30 minutes here. And I would actually have Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect be the sole survivors here. I would actually have, Shawn Michaels be the last person eliminated. Ric Flair and Randy Savage, they can kind of fight to the back and get counted out there. So that's what happens with them two. Shawn can eliminate Marty Jannetty. Bret Hart can eliminate Razor Ramon. And then yeah, Bret and Mr. Perfect eliminate Shawn Michaels at the end. So yeah, this builds up a few things here. Razor Ramon could get pissed that he got pinned by Bret, and once his match at Royal Rumble, so that can build up where Razor gets mad, he attacks Owen Hart, and then also I'm trying to set up Bret versus Mr. Perfect for WrestleMania. So them being the sole survivor, there's still a little bit of tension there, obviously because SummerSlam 1991, where Bret defeated Mr. Perfect. So yeah, it's kind of a subtle hint that I'm going in that direction. And yeah, and it puts over Bret Hart again as the man here. And obviously Ric Flair is about to leave, so he could definitely, do the job there. And Macho Man, he wasn't really as pushed, so he doesn't really need to survive as well. So yeah, guys, that is my card. Let me know what you guys think. Just in general, I feel like every match I have at least one good star in there. So the main match, obviously the main event has everyone in there: Bret, Savage, Perfect, Flair, Razor, Shawn, great star power, and then even the Undertaker, him and Bam Bam Bigelow, and then Money Inc. as well. They're Ted DiBiase, great star power, Big Boss Man. He kind of carries his star power for his match, and then Tatanka as well. So these guys are pushed well, and then the first match as well. I have Bob Backlund and Yokozuna. So, and I think I chose the winners correctly. Yokozuna was getting the monster push, so he needed to survive. Tatanka as well, still undefeated. And I think it was a nice win for Big Boss Man to end his feud there. And again, the upset of Bam Bam Bigelow defeating The Undertaker. And then, of course, the main event, Bret Hart. He's the new guy you want to push. But I would still have Mr. Perfect survive as well. Kind of a nod because he hasn't wrestled in a while. So, I don't want him to get eliminated right away. Um, keep his character going strong as he would defeat Ric Flair in the Loser Leaves Raw match. And eventually I would have him challenge Bret Hart. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think of the card, and we'll run down the card for you guys right now. So the first match, Captain Mr. Bob Backlund, the Bushwhackers, and El Matador versus Captain Yokozuna, the Headshrinkers, and Kamala. Second match, Captain Tatonka, Crush, and High Energy versus Captain the Berserker, Skinner, and the Beverly Brothers. The next match, Captain Big Boss Man, Virgil, and the Nasty Boys versus Captain Nailz, Repo Man, the Brooklyn Brawler, and the Genius. The fourth match, Captain The Undertaker, the Natural Disasters, and Max Moon versus Captain Bam Bam Bigelow, Money Inc., and Papa Shango. And in the main event, Captain Bret the Hitman Hart teaming with the Macho Man Randy Savage, Mr. Perfect, and Marty Jannety versus Captain Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, the bad guy Razor Ramon, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and the model Rick Martell. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about my 1992 Survivor Series card, and catch you on the next one. Peace.